were talking to Scott yesterday about face-offs, and one of the topics that got brought up was winger wins. And because you're out there for a lot of critical face-offs with Adam, what's the best way to go about a winger win? I mean, you don't want to jump early, otherwise he gets waved out. So maybe take us through that.
Yeah, obviously you kind of see what set they're in first, and that dictates, where you line up, and then based on, your hands versus their hands. Then it's just getting a good jump off the drop. Obviously, you want to get that inside positioning right away, and that's just ice you got to fight and compete for, and from there win your 50-50 battles. So, any pucks that go directly to the the left or to the right, it's essentially a new face-off between the wingers. So, the more we win of those, more possession you have to start shifts, and the better we'll be.
In those 6-on-5 scenarios late in games, the last two, you've managed to set up the captain for a couple of empty netters. How important is it to have that communication as you're going down the ice to make sure that it's a good ending, or did you just kind of get the luck of the hockey gods on those ones against Anaheim? And
well, on that one, last night the guy tipped it, so it's but then obviously you need the lucky bounce off the wall, right, to Laus. But, credit to Laus for when I kind of turned up the ice with the puck, the guy was right on his tail. And then, as I shot it, Laus kept, working, striding towards the net. And obviously the puck came right there. So it was just a hard-working, hard-skating play for him to, tap in the empty netter.
So what does an ideal start look like to you compared to the one you guys had in game one, which you weren't entirely satisfied with?
Yeah, I think, as you saw us build our game, we held on to pucks more, we made more plays, we made more stuff happen. Obviously the crowd is so electric that you can almost get caught up in it a little bit too much. You kind of over-ramp yourself up a little bit, but, we just got to calm down, take a breath, and try to get to, what makes us good right away. And it's game one of a series. You play 82 games thinking about game one kind of and what's after the regular season. So you understand where the nerves come from and this and that. But, game two, hopefully it'll have a little different start for us. And, we'll be a little more calmer.
You've played in front of this Whiteout crowd quite often. Has there been a learning curve to, like you said, handling the emotions involved with that?
Certainly, I think it's brighter, it's louder, it's not normal. So to say everyone's a little nervous, a little on edge to start, it's just what it is. You kind of learn to process it a bit and, kind of take a deep breath and just go play hockey. And I thought as the game went on, obviously the crowd stayed there and, stayed electric, but we definitely settled in. So, there's learning curve kind of each game in it and, each series and, each year.
Another thing that's not quite normal is the schedule of this series. You're going to play 2 games in 6 days after this and weird start time. What's that going to do to a player?
Well, I think you learn that's kind of what the playoffs are. We've had some wacko start times like – you think back to that game we played against Edmonton a few years ago when I think it was like a 9 o'clock start, and then you all those overtimes you're out of here at 1:30 in the morning. Like it's kind of what the playoffs have become. Throughout the year, you got the odd afternooner or the 5 o'clock or this or that, but you just learn to adapt and adjust. And obviously rest is also important too. But like you said, 2 games where you got 2 days in between each one. It looks a little different than traditionally in the playoffs, but both teams got to deal with it and. It is what it is, and we'll be fine.
And a noon start coming up, too, right?
Yeah, noon. Honestly, I think most of us like the noon start. You don't have to think. You just kind of roll out of bed and eat breakfast and go to the rink. Yeah.
According to the NHL.com stats, Mason, there were 29 St. Louis hits in the first period. Back in the day, you could hold up checks. I don't know. Can you still do that if St. Louis decides to come out with the all-out physical approach again here in Game 2?
Yeah, you got to think about, when they're trying to get on their forecheck, how you can get little screens and little bumps on them and things like that, just to kind of slow them up because, like you said, they had a big physical element to their game, and that's a lot of hits in a period, and we'll do our best to evade those and make little plays out of it, and
Do you expect that and the emotion of the late game melee kind of stuff? Do you expect that to kind of level out as the series goes on?
I mean that's kind of what. Any game that's kind of over in the last minute usually turns into that in a playoff series. I think it's just kind of status quo. I mean, if that happens during a game, the refs, the whistles are going to come out and they'll get control of the game right away. So, I don't see that really changing the series.